What is going on, everybody, boys, girls, and everybody in between? We are here talking about how bad the Memphis Grizzlies have been to start this year. They are currently 0-6. Tonight they might go 0-7 if they lose, but obviously. But why are they so bad this year? This was the number 2 seed last year in the West, which is a very stacked conference. I think the West is better than the East right now because the East is really just 2 to 3 teams that are just above everybody else. Everybody else is kind of middle pack. I think the West has quite a few championship contenders, 1 through 6 at least, maybe even 1 through 8. It could be championship contenders, especially with the Warriors and the Lakers looking like they could be on an upswing again. I mean, they just have two of the greatest players of all time. So how come Memphis is so bad this year? And now wait, it's a small sample size, only 6 games, and John Morant hasn't played a game for him due to his suspension. But that doesn't always mean anything. Why have they been so bad to start this year off? And I think the biggest thought process behind it is they don't play good anywhere. They're currently 20 something in defense, 20 something in offense. I think they're 24th in defense, 21st in offense, something like that. They are near the bottom half of the league in both categories, which is not a good thing because defense has always been what they did great. In fact, they are better when Ja didn't play in the past years because they were so good defensively. Now this year, they can't do either, and that is what's killing them. If they could just play one or the other to a top tier level, I think they would succeed quite well. I mean, if they were playing great defense like they usually do, and they brought Marcus Smart in for that reason, I think they would still be succeeding. They would be struggling a bit because outside of Desmond Bane and maybe Jaren Jackson Jr., there's not much offense here, especially since Desmond Bane right now is the only guy really balling out offensively. Marcus Smart's, I think, is having a solid start to the year. Tillman hasn't been awful coming off of I guess he's starting now since Steven Adams isn't playing. But I don't think either guy is, lighting up the stat sheets. I mean, if you look at Philly, they got 4 dudes averaging 20 points through these games. There's a reason why they're 5-1, I think now, or 4-1, one of the two. There's a reason why they look so good. Same thing with Boston. They have a ton of guys who's just scoring. And scoring is what matters in the end of the day. But on top of that, both teams played solid enough defense that they make up for it if they don't score. That's the Grizzlies just don't. And I think a big thing that people don't really think about, a big person that the Memphis Grizzlies is currently missing is Steven Adams. Because, I mean, dude, since he's gone down last year, they have not been the same Memphis Grizzlies team. Against the Lakers in that playoff series, they just didn't look like they could do anything. They couldn't stop AD without Steven Adams. Adams is the anchor to that team. When you lose your starting center, I think that is one of the worst positions to lose, especially in modern day basketball, since they are the hardcore rim protector, since they score generally a lot. I mean, if you look, some of the best players in this league right now are centers, and Embiid and Jokic, two of the best currently playing, are centers, and they've learned how to do basically everything. Now, Steven Adams is still your traditional center, but he's a solid rim protector. He's strong, he's powerful, and he will protect his rim. And now without him, Jaren Jackson Jr. has to basically come off the perimeter and protect the rim more than he already was. Because at this point, he's the only guy. I mean, Tillman, again, been playing fine, but he is a backup center. It's the same thing as if the Sixers lost Joel Embiid. Paul Reed might play decent, but he's no Joel Embiid. And now, obviously, it's a massive difference, but you get my point. The Steven Adams is the biggest loss that the Grizzlies have right now. Because I think in 25 games, or whenever, I guess they have 19 left to play before Ja comes back, when Ja comes back, they will look more explosive offensively because, that's what Ja does. That's what he does. He's more explosive offensively. He dominates out there offensively, but he's terrible defensively. So they might even slide farther down the list defensively, but they'll go up offensively. They'll probably start winning some more games. They might make a play and push, but right now I don't think they can make a playoff spot in the West looking as bad as they have so far. And I think that's a huge thing to think about because they were the 2 seed last year. And they're the young team. They're not like, the Warriors or the Lakers who are kind of getting up there in age. And that is why they're kind of falling off. No, they're the young team. They were one of the youngest teams in the playoffs last year. I saw like OKC, which is a super young team. And I just don't understand what's really happened? I mean, the big loss was Tyus Jones, Steven Adams, and Ja Morant to start this year. And I think Steven Adams has to be the only thing that matters. Because Tyus Jones came off the bench. They were better without Ja last year. Again, he's just a scorer, plays terrible defense. So, does Steven Adams mean this much to Memphis Grizzlies and to other teams? Because I don't think people have him even really in the top 10 centers in the league because he's not an offensive threat like Joel or Jokic or Cat or one of those dudes. He's just good at playing center. He's a guy who will continuously be a starter on different teams because he's a good rim protector, whatnot, like kind of like a Mason Plumlee type guy, where they're not doing anything too wild scoring wise, but they are playing the type of basketball that the teams need. And I think that is the biggest loss for the Memphis Grizzlies, is not having Steven Adams. It's not Ja Morant, it's Steven Adams. He is the key piece to the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, I also think that they will figure it out. They'll start playing better. They'll probably win a few games before Ja comes back. If they can get somewhat close to 500 through these 25 games, Ja comes back, they'll probably be at least a play-in team. Maybe they'll get to like the 6th seed. But losing 6 games already, I think it's going to be extremely difficult to really crack back into that top 4 or 5 teams in the West, because I mean, you got the teams like the Clippers, Golden State. I mean, you got teams like the Kings who've not looked great to start the year, but they have looked good. The Nuggets, the defending champions. I mean, Dallas has looked great to start this year. You got too many good teams in the West to start this bad and really make that push. I think play-in is really the height that they got, and they'll have to win through the play-in to make the playoffs, which is crazy to think because I don't think most people had them being in the play-in coming into the year. I know, like, Ja Morant not playing was kind of a thought process on some of our minds, but I don't think it was that much of a worry since they had been better without him. But I think the Steven Adams loss is the biggest factor in this outcome. If you guys enjoy this type of video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.